In this video, I'd like to talk about a few verbs and adjectives that are similar that I did a bit of research on to try to separate, what is the difference, and to be able to understand clearly. So I learned quite a bit while doing this, and I wanted to share it with you. So the words we'll talk about today have to do with the word in English to swing. And we, of course, know there's a few different ways to swing, but in Hmong, it's separated slightly differently. So I wanted to go over a few different vocabulary words. One of the first words is fia, fia, fia. This is a general term for to swing. So in one dictionary, the wording or the definition used is specifically to push something and set it in motion, swinging like a pendulum. So we're thinking of back and forth, kind of like a swing that you swing on, right? Of course, fia has a broader meaning. So just like in the image there, you can see it can also mean to swing something kind of like a sling, like you spin it around in that sense. So it can mean spin in that sense as well. Alternatively, another phrase, or via via, or via via, means to swing, just like you see in the picture on a swing. And if you change the verb or to the classifier, the noun classifier, lu via via, it can mean a swing, just like you see in the picture. Interestingly, when you search via via or via via on YouTube or the internet, you'll find a lot of videos of people's kids on swings. So that is probably what comes most to mind when they hear that vocab word. Now, if you separate it out, the word or can mean to do, via is literally the part that means swing. Now that last word, via, via, that's a post-verbal intensifier. It's similar to an adverb in the English language. And what it does, its function, is to add to the feeling and kind of the meaning of that verb via, V-I-A-V. And what it adds, not just to that verb, but to a number of different verbs, is the idea of something is dangling or hanging. So we can use it with via. So just like we saw before, I'll go back, via via, right? And that means to swing, like we see in the picture. But we can use it with other verbs as well. So for example, the word lao, lao means to fall or droop down. And then when you add via, it gives a more intense idea of something has just like dropped down and is dangling. Lao via, lao via. Another example is dai, D-A-I, which means to hang. And if you add via, dai via, dai via, it gives the idea of something is just hanging and dangling. I will leave it up to you to decide what things are hanging and dangling. And your imagination, I'm just giving the verbs that you can use via with. Another example, again, up to your imagination, NRWG, ndu. Ndu means to sag. And of course, via adds that idea of something dangling. So ndu via means to like sag and dangle down. I ran across this one printed. I thought you might like it. ขอเจ้าได้ via. ขอเจ้าได้ via. The mouth is hanging open or like hanging, just gaping open, wide open. So have fun trying to put that into use. Now, going back to that word fia, fia. Again, it can be, whereas or via can mean to swing back and forth more specifically, fia can be used as a lot of things. So I thought this was an interesting example in a daning, in a folk tale. It's a bit longer, so I would like to go over it bit by bit. So I'll just read it in Hmong first. It says, Ye ya sang lao ho chở ngon giờ nhua mi nhua cho cả tơ. Nga long mun trao rong. Phía shi ti lao. Ilu poji. So then Mr. Sang Lao snatched Nzao's little tiger baby by the hind legs and carried it outside, and with one swing, smashed it into a rock. Now, I'll leave his intentions up to your imagination again, but I thought this was interesting just because it also came with an illustration. So you can see how swing is used specifically here. If there's anything to be learned from this, it's that many Hmong do not like tigers. Another example, bia ying, bia ying. And this can mean to sway back and forth, to waddle, to stroll. I've noticed that it seems to have the implication of something that not necessarily just to sway back and forth, but it's someone kind of casually strolling. They don't have much to do. So one example is like the picture, all mu gay bia ying, all mu gay bia ying. The duck is waddling about, or it's walking while waddling. Another example, luan do hai gu tia bia yu ying. Luan do hai gu tia bia yu ying. So the young man sings gu tia songs while swaying back and forth. So he's singing, he's just standing there. He doesn't know what to do with his hands, singing. So he just kind of rocks back and forth while he's singing there. And you'll notice some of the tone changes. Bia yu ying. They added that yu. Sometimes words are added just to kind of give a feeling, have a rhyming feeling. Finally, this last very long example, but I thought it was kind of nice because it shows how you can use these kind of more specific vocabulary to paint a vivid picture. Again, 这高兴这是一路上路高别人多长短的可是龙步. So then Zheng Sheng, wearing a nice outfit and carrying an umbrella, arrives strolling, swaying gently back and forth to the place where Shilong was laying down. Here's an example, I think a good example of how Bia Yang really is used. Just she was on a walk. She just kind of walks, swaying back and forth as she goes with her umbrella and her nice little outfit. So I hope that helps understand some of the differences between these words. It was something I learned new, so I wanted to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy it. And as always, of course, see you in the next video.